Hello, and welcome to Viewpoints, Dominion DMS's video podcast series where we highlight our vendor partners. I'm Sharon Kitzman, president of Dominion DMS, and with us today we have Jason Carroll. He is vice president of strategy and product for Preferred Payments. Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Sharon. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
Absolutely. Why don't we get started by maybe you telling us a little bit about yourself as well as your company, Preferred Payments.
Yeah, absolutely. So Preferred Payments is a credit card ACH processing financial technology company, or fintech. We were established in 2009 with a simple idea of providing an unparalleled level of service and support for our clients that had been largely missing from our industry specifically. I joined the company about 10 years ago on the sales side, and I helped to expand our verticals of comfort, eventually leading a team of dedicated account reps. We were executing the CEO's vision of providing a white glove level of service for our customers, no matter how big or small. In the process, we developed more of a true business relationship with our clients. As we began to see a shift in the industry with traditional methods of credit card processing moving towards the more all-in-one or packaged solutions, through many introductions from these customers, and as a result of some of the limitations we had reselling other products, we actually set out and built our own payment gateway that we use today, which is called eCrypt.
Okay, interesting. So you mentioned white glove. That's probably a term that is not often thought about with dealers and payment processors. Is it fair to say that's part of your unique value to a dealer, or is there something else that really sets you apart from your competition?
I would say there's a number of things, but I think the level of service and support that we provide, it's always been at the front of our vision. And it is, to your point exactly, not something that is typically come across in the industry as a whole, sadly. So, it's something we really hang our hat on, giving people these dedicated areas of support, having someone like myself or some of my team members they can call on and say, hey, I've got an issue with my terminal. I can't get into my online reporting system, whatever the case is, having someone who knows their business, knows their accounts, and can help them right away without them going through a phone tree or sending 100 support emails.
Yeah. Well, that's great. I'm sure the dealers listening to this podcast are interested in white glove treatment from all their vendor partners.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of all their vendor partners, there's just an amazing number of vendor partners and software solutions that dealers have to choose from in this ecosystem that serves the automotive industry. As a DMS provider, we certainly partner with many of them, but I'm always interested as a partner to a DMS provider. What do you see in this ecosystem of integration that maybe we could do better to partner with you better and also serve the dealers better?
Well, that's a great question. And I think, obviously listening to what the dealers are asking for, what do they need in their ecosystem so that they can have everything in that single point to streamline their operations and ultimately, reduce their operational costs and improve their customer experience, their efficiency. I think listening to what the dealers want, I think is probably paramount because you're going to be able to get a good sampling of what really is important to them.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, good news. We have an advisory board, but I also talk to a lot of dealers every week, so I'll keep asking that question. Talking about dealers trying to improve their profitability and their margin, this industry that we're in is constantly evolving, right? We went through a pandemic, which of course impacted a number of industries. Then we had the chip shortage, labor shortage, now followed on by record profitability on new car sales, only to be followed by higher rising interest rates. Um, it's just like one thing after another for dealers. As vice president of strategy, I'm sure that you and your team sit around a table on a regular basis and think about ways that you can better serve the dealers, maybe through a little bit of a downturn, or certainly to take advantage of a possible upside in the industry. What do you guys have planned that you think about when thinking about dealers and what they're being faced with today?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, the dealers from a payments perspective, they're always going to be concerned about keeping their rates and fees down. So having that ability to provide the hyper competitive pricing for our dealer clients without contract, giving them a month-to-month service with that white glove touch, that would probably rank first for them.
Mhm.
For us, I think on the product side, we're always looking at ease of implementation, partnering with platforms such as Dominion, creating a more robust environment for the dealers, which again, it all boils down to operational efficiency. If they have a single source of truth for their dealership, for their environment, then they're able to operate in one system, and it's going to obviously speed up the processes, improve customer experience overall. And I think that's really what we're always trying to hang our hat on the technology side is keeping everything streamlined, easy to use, easy to implement, and providing a good customer experience for our customers, which downstreams to the dealer customers.
Excellent. As you think about us as a DMS provider, we're constantly trying to integrate as deeply as we possibly can with OEMs and with vendor partners in order to provide workflow efficiency for the dealers beyond asking the dealers, as you mentioned earlier, what they would recommend. Do you run across workflow concerns that the dealers have? Is there anything you could share with us that maybe we could improve upon as we think about workflow between our two products going forward?
Yeah, I think for us, honestly, the thing that we hear the most is that there's a lot of disconnected systems running these dealerships still. A lot
Mhm.
of legacy technology, maybe a little bit of on the ownership side too, a hesitancy to make a change. And that is honestly what we hear the most. It's frankly, a lot of our dealers will still have non-integrated credit card solutions like a,
Mm.
terminal on a desk. You go into pay your service invoice and they walk you to the back. Your service advisor walks you to the back and,
Yeah.
they send you the invoice, take your credit card, run it through the machine. It doesn't talk to
Mhm.
anything. There's double entry, triple entry. And I think that's honestly what we hear the most is there's a time consuming manual process around connecting multiple systems that aren't necessarily made to talk to each other.
Yeah. I mean, when I put my consumer hat on, whether it's at a car dealership or the salon or wherever, I want to book that appointment online. I'd either even like to pay for it online,
Right.
if given the option. So I think, they're going to have to evolve beyond the credit card processing on the desk in order to stay in touch with their consumer expectations as well.
Yeah. I mean, on the consumer side, the most consumers are totally, to your point, they're used to that online experience,
Mhm.
getting that text to pay
Right.
or even
Mhm.
an email invoice
Yep.
link to pay. you know that's one of the things that we we really are trying to bridge that gap working with you guys to offer more of
Mhm.
that streamlined solution for these dealers.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's going to again boost operational efficiency, On the service side, you may probably improve the customer experience when they're picking up, and maybe you can move more metal through the service shop.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, we'll keep trying, right? If there's a
Absolutely.
deal, if there's a dealer out there who would like workflow efficiency in their store and is interested in everything that you had to say about preferred payment and that white glove service treatment, how should they get in touch with you, Jason? What's the best way?
Sure, they could just come to preferredpayments.com. There's a live agent that's always on the chat there. They could also give us a call at 800-935-9309. A live representative will pick up the phone, could ask to talk to me, or say that you're working with Dominion, and they'll pass you along to the right team of people that are supporting the Dominion integration.
Excellent. And then similarly, if you want to go to dominiondms.com, to our partners page, all of our partners are listed there, including preferred payments, and that will link you directly to their website as well that Jason just mentioned. All right, excellent. Well, as we close out our session here today, since we both live and breathe automotive all day, do you have a car story for us, Jason? So maybe something that touches your heart or your soul around the automotive industry.
Sure. Well, my father had a 72 Stingray until I was about 5 or 6 years old. And I remember, I was hooked immediately. I remember, driving around in the front seat of that. Well, there was no back seat, but just driving shotgun in the 80s, no booster seat, dear old dad rattling that thing down the road. And that was it. I had a real love of cars, working on cars, building cars, racing cars ever since. Much to my father's dismay, I was fond of the Mustangs and the Shelby Cobras. Ultimately had a couple Fox bodies, built a 65 Cobra kit, and I have a GT350 that's more of a track queen these days. But that's all started from my father's silly green 72 Stingray.
All in the muscle car family. Well,
Yeah, all muscle cars.
I bet it broke your heart when he got rid of that when you were 6 instead of keeping it until you were 16.
Yeah, he did. He gave it to his nephew, my cousin, who was about 10 years older than me. So he had more of a utility for it than a 6-year-old, I think.
Oh, goodness. Excellent. I love those stories and how the automotive industry has just implanted itself on all of us in a really nice way. For your time today, Jason. And again, as a reminder to our dealers, if you want to learn more about preferred payments, please reach out to them via chat on their website or the phone number that Jason recommended earlier, or again, through the Dominion DMS website. You can click on preferred payments and get there very easily. Jason, thank you so much today. We enjoyed it, and I know our dealers enjoyed hearing from you as well.
Thanks again for having me, Sharon. I appreciate the chat.
Absolutely.